Hello, we are from Group 6. We present our Group Project 1. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to you, sir. My name is Amera Najuwan binti Anuar. My matrix number is 274023.
Now I will start this presentation with the introduction. So, as we all know that doing banking business internationally will expand external trade credit, foreign exchange, issued letters of credit to travelers, traded, and held foreign assets. Offshore investment offers privacy, secrecy, and new ways of diversifying assets. In regards to that, it is important to choose a country that can generate high profitability and minimal risk exposure. Japan is a stable and well-regulated country. There are around 200 banks in Japan, and Japan's central bank is called the Bank of Japan. Was established in 1882 to control the domestic money supply and to act as a lender of last resort for Japanese banks. Japan banking system comprised of domestically licensed banks and foreign banks. Domestic licensed banks include trust banks, regional banks, and city banks. Japanese banks record for 5 of the world's 5 largest banks in terms of total assets in 1990. These banks established foreign branches, acquired existing foreign banks, and began new activities such as underwriting euro-yen bond issue. Japan has both strategic and cost advantages. Doing business in Japan has both strategy and cost advantage because a business entity can be established in Japan in as little as 14 days, and a successful business in Japan can generate a significant portion of global profit within 3 to 5 years. And Japanese currency, as we all know, called Japanese yen. Now I will pass to the next presenter.
Hello, my name is Huangyu, matric number 251216. Today I would like to present country risk report. The country we choose is Japan. Firstly, I will present the geography location of Japan. As we know, Japan is located on a chain of islands. It's made up of 4 main islands and thousands of smaller ones. The terrain is mountainous, which means there is not a lot of good land for farming. Because of the geography, the Japanese relied on the sea for many aspects of daily life. Trade with China and Korea become important to get the resources they need. Through trade and migration, cultural discussion occurred between Japan and China as early as 100 BCE. Japan adopted the Chinese system of writing and similar style of architecture. One of the major ideals that influenced Japan was Buddhism. As time went by, there were many wars between warlords, as the samurai who had great loyalty were called samurai. They follow a code of conduct called Bushido, which teaches them to be brave, just, generous, and honorable. Eventually, a warlord becomes strong enough to be given the title of shogun, while the emperor was still on the throne. The shogun effectively ruled Japan. The last shogunate ruled from 1603 to 1868. Next, I will present the country and the political risk of Japan. As we know, the Japanese political situation is always stable. Given that Japanese political environment is in a state of flux, Japanese society has remained relatively stable. Social crime in advanced nations was the lowest, and people's middle class conscious experience is fairly strong. This is manifested by narrowing the income disparity and elevating the status of national society, hammering moral standards and rules of ethics, and organizing the economic society and politics. A Japanese politician is a form of bargaining politics. The person who is prime minister is not always the most capable of or powerful person. As a result, Japanese political unrest has not affected social stability, and Japanese people remain in order. According to the Japanese government system, politicians and the bureaucratic are two separate systems. With the civil servant system operating steadily, the pyramid of Japanese civil servants is very stable. No matter how fierce the political competition is, the state machine will still operate normally according to the established method and will not be affected. Therefore, there is a spectrum, that is, the prime minister changes almost every year, but the entire society's order is in order. Ordinary people are always doing their jobs, working at sunrise and dying at sunset, as if the prime minister replacement has nothing to do with them, so the political factor will not impact the project management at all. Furthermore, the trade war between China and the United States and the epidemic of the COVID-19 outbreak will have a significant impact on Japan's economic in 2021. First, Japan's exports and manufacturing have declined, calling on the government to raise the national sales tax by 8% to 10%, negatively impacting the country's GDP. Car manufacturers, for example, have become anxious. In October last year, new car sales in Japan fell 26.4% year-on-year and fell 14.6% in November. It will take at least a few quarters for consumers to start shopping again. But at the end of the last year, Japan government announced that a $120 million stimulus package would be used to assist natural disaster relief and protect against economic downside risk. Although the government has figured out the secure plan, the currency, economic, and the policy still influence the global project management. The budget of the cooperation project with domestic retailers will increase because of the rising material price. Thank you. That's all for my part. Thank you for your listening.
Hi everyone, my name is Yessie Siregar binti Musah and my metric number is 272531. I will explain about the competition level in banking system in Japan. So in Japan, the financial industry has undergone major change, such as the bubble economy collapse in the 1980s and the financial crisis in 2008. So this shift in the financial environment has provided change in the financial structure as well as the state of competition in Japan. In 2019, Japan's bank had total asset of 18.5 trillion US dollar, and the country has 8 of the world's largest bank with a total asset of 10.53 trillion. So the three biggest banks in the country are Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group, which is MUFG, Japan Post Bank, and Sumitomo Mitsui Financial Group. So the first one, MUFG, is a Japanese holding or financial service company which headquartered in Chiyoda, Tokyo, Japan. It is the largest bank in Japan and the 5th largest in the world with a total asset of US dollar 2.78 trillion and total revenue of 14 billion US dollar. The second largest bank in Japan is Japan Post Bank, which is a Japanese bank which headquartered in Tokyo and a part of the Japan Post Holding Group. The bank ranks 12th in the world with the total asset of 1.874 trillion US dollar and the total revenue of 3 billion US dollar. And the third largest bank in Japan is Sumitomo Mitsui Financial Group, and it is the seventh in Asia with the total asset of US dollar 1.775 trillion and the total revenue of 8.749 billion US dollar. However, the total asset of these three major Japanese banks are stated to be low. So MUFG, the world's largest bank by assets, stated its annual net profit has fallen by 12%, which reflects the decline in loan profit margin. Since the top three control only a small portion of the market, the concentration of the banking system will become less concentrated. Therefore, this will allow the competition to increase, which will benefit competitors as the bank will do their best to provide customers with the best service. So as a conclusion, it can be said that too much competition is a good thing. In addition, Japan also has just reformed their laws and regulation on domestic mergers and acquisition, making it easier to absorb and integrate with other companies. So it can be concluded that Japan is the best choice to enter international banking business as Japan banking system is less concentrated and therefore has the least risk exposure. So this will be easy for us to start international banking business because the top three banks cannot simply charge for the higher price. So that's all for my part. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Norlaila Ardilla binti Abdul Rahim. My matric number is 267801. So now I would like to present about the organizational structure. For our bank in Japan, we have choose subsidiary for our organizational structures. As we see that this is the best to use in Japan. As we know that branches is more simpler and less expensive to open than subsidiary. However, no inherent value exists from subsidiaries. So usually subsidiaries established as a kabushiki kaisha as a common stock or gaido kaisha as a limited liability partnership at Japan. Next is company should be organized as an independent legal body because of rules in Japanese company. Subsidiaries are seen as more roots in Japanese business sector. Subsidiaries are corporations with flexible ties to the company should be organized as an independent legal. Next is safer. Unlike the establishment of branch, subsidiary is comparatively longer and more expensive to register. However, many international companies find that subsidiary is more safer because it reassures their customers and business partners with their commitment. Subsidiary has the ability to raise additional capital such as sales of public equity and stock. As an independent legal body, the corporation is accountable and safeguard the headquarters outside from the country from ongoing legal dispute in Japan for its own agreement and commitment. Last but not least, 30 until 45% of earning. Whereas for the tax rate, the subsidiaries have the same level as branches and measured on the basis of its own capital at 30 until 45% of earnings. For the profit and dividends, it represent approximately 20% holding tax on remittance. I think that all from me. I would like to pass my presentation to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Wuhanyi. Metric number is 251211. I will present the product or a service that can offer to capture the market damage. Based on the robotics industry, the Japanese market ranks around the top to most producer of the robots. According to the production data, Japanese manufacturers ranking half all global robot consignment. There are two types of robots: service robots and industrial robots. The diameter of the robotic system is expected to increase at 40% over the next 90 years. Up to the 2036, Japanese has a worldwide presence as a manufacturing market, ranking fourth in the world in terms of the total quantity of the new automations manufacturers. Next, we can develop the product in the pharmaceuticals industry. It's because Japanese ranked third global and increased at 3.4% at annual rates. The Japanese government has identified healthcare as a booming industry and has invested in technological development similar to the philanthropy system. Renewable energy installed capacity has increased thirtyfold. Therefore, we also can make an investment in renewable energy production. In addition, we can open a hotel or restaurant in Japanese because Japanese is the most traveler choose the country. Based on the country data, 26 million foreign visitors visited Japanese in 2017 and spent a total of 4.4 trillion. The government had set a target of 20 million visitors per year by the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics in 2020. Still, in March 2016, it's raised the target to 4 billion in 2020 and 60 million through 2030. Lastly, we also can make an investment in electricity and renewable energy in Japanese. The 2011 Japanese earthquake has a variety of effects on Japanese energy environment. Japan's reflection base has decreased from 58.1% in 1960 to 90.9% in 2010, indicating that the transformation from fossil fuels to petroleum has dramatically increased economic growth. The manufacture of the fossil energy has increased rapidly recently in the coverage of the shortfall during the time. Higher traffic of the falling fuels become a factor in several degradation of the trade balance at the international scale, breaking of the raw oil price up till the seams of the 2040s. As a result of this situation, electricity price rose, having a major effect on industries, including SMEs and local firms and households.
Now, I will end this presentation with the conclusion of this assignment. Japan produced major corporations and has highly developed modern infrastructure. From all the factors that have been analyzed from our group, Japan, that known as the land of the rising sun, has produced major corporations like Sony, Honda, and Toyota. Furthermore, Japan has a highly developed modern infrastructure for all the distribution of all types of goods and services. Country and political risk seems relatively stable. However, due to the outbreak COVID-19, trade war between China and the United States have affected the Japan's economy. In order to protect against economy downside, Japan then came up with a rescue plan, the currency economy and the policy which influenced the global project management. Next, strong competition among Japanese banks. Because three major Japanese banks are said to have relatively low total asset market shares, which will cause the banking system's concentration to become less concentrated. As a result, competition will increase, which will benefit competitors because banks will strive to give the best service to their customers. Then, importance of structure and organization from strong and prestigious major city banks and its main bank system. The structure and organization of the banking system, especially its strong and prestigious major city bank and its main bank system, was cited as an important advantage by Japan in terms of its economy and finance, superior to the traditional Western market economies. Lastly, Japan is an excellent country to collaborate with because the fact that Japan is a country that will generate high profits because its financial institutions are stable and its politics are excellent. Japan's business culture is not as typical as many business believe. Respect, integrity, and patience for their business customs and a long-term perspective on business success are essential ingredients for success in Japan. That's all from me and from our group. Thank you.